Hello, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. Um, this video is going to be a little bit more just me talking to you guys and just sharing a bit of my experience these past couple of months and how a plant-based diet changed my perspective on so many things that I was struggling with just for many years. And yesterday, as I was just, going about my day, and I was just thinking on how much has changed in my life these past 10 months. I'm hopeful that this video will encourage some of you guys and maybe even just change your perspective a little bit on some things, and maybe give you the motivation to start something new, go on this new journey for yourself, and to see if maybe you will greatly benefit from this way of eating. I'm really hopeful that you will take even just something out of this. And so, yeah, thank you so much for sticking around, and let's get started. So I'm going to be very real with you guys in this video, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of take you through my journey before even starting a plant-based diet, and how my life was before this. And as the title says, like, you are more than the scale, it kind of revolves around that. And so if you're interested in just hearing about my life, then let's jump into today's video. Growing up, I grew up on the standard American diet slash Mexican diet, which is just, lots of chips, lots of snacks, lots of fried foods. And, I was, a pretty happy child. I didn't, how would I say it? I didn't struggle much with my weight. I was just, going through my life, didn't know anything about health, diet, and all that kind of stuff. I just ate what my mom made, and, that was that. Well, when I got into around, high school, I kind of began to notice, as most young people begin to notice, that your body's beginning to change, that you're beginning to gain a little bit of weight, or you're just becoming more insecure. And so, sometimes you eat less, you restrict your portions, you start just kind of noticing things that you shouldn't eat, so that you stay slim, so that you stay skinny, because you could gain weight. And so, same happened to me when I was in high school. And then, but I was still, pretty slim. And then I got on to college, and the freshman 15 is so real. It happened. I went off to college, and the situation just kind of got worse. I began to struggle a lot with, just overeating, indulging in the cafeteria food and all you can eat. And it was around this time in college where eventually I began to just notice just habits with food. Sometimes I just wouldn't eat, or I'd overeat. I just think it was college life, because I was, busy studying, and then sometimes I'd be just too, I don't know, my friends wouldn't be going to lunch or to dinner, and so then I'd just be like, oh, well, what the heck, I just won't go. And it's okay, like, I got some snacks in my in my room, so I just wouldn't eat. When I graduated college, I began to see just other women my age beginning to track their calories, beginning to restrict portions, beginning to just fit this mold of what a woman is supposed to look like, that's fit, that looks great in this body all the time, that is able to, once they have kids, they're able to very quickly go back to their pre-baby weight, and all of that. And so then, as I began to ponder, like, even as I was thinking about potentially motherhood later on in the future, I remember having a conversation with my now husband, um, that I was just terrified. Like, honestly, I was just terrified of going through just a season of depression with, like, potentially, like, in our future when we had a child, and thinking that uh, my weight was going to be an issue, that the way that my body looked, that I was just going to soak up in depression and be saddened because, I gained weight, and because I was going to look different. So things like that were just terrifying to me. And I just saw no, like, I don't know, I just connected it with, when I gain weight, my husband's not going to love me anymore, or when I, um, like, I'm going to be just not ideal anymore, not look how I should look like, anymore. And so things like that began to just, progressively get scarier for me as I got older, and as we started thinking about having kids. I remember there was like a season in, my life after college also, where I was just eating this tiny little Walmart packaged salad, and I'm sure you've seen them around, where it's just lettuce, a bit of like shredded cheese, and uh, cubed chicken. And that's supposed to be my lunch, and having that, and oh my gosh, like, I sometimes would just not eat because I knew I have to stick to 1,200 calories a day, or even sometimes trying to go under that just so that I can reach my goal faster. Only to then, of course, in the weekend, go out with my friends and just eat a ton of junk food. Like, the struggle was real, and because I was, doing that, I was, restricting so much, just, restricting my portions so much, and then binging on the weekends. Then I was just, of course, still gaining the weight, not feeling good, um, just not able to wear things that I felt comfortable in, and just getting to see just, the number on the scale go up, and see the size of my jeans and my shirts just progressively get larger. I was just, like, what do I do? So I remember there was a point where I tried keto, and it did work. I could say, like, and it was not like the cleanest keto, of course, but even doing keto, like, I just did not feel good. I was restricting still, like, the carbs, and I just felt lightheaded. I did not feel good at all. It was just, not a good place to be at. It was all, like, every single moment of my life, from when I woke up in the morning, it was, what am I going to have for breakfast? And fearing sometimes, not, sometimes even skipping breakfast, because I was just like, those are unnecessary calories that I don't need. And then hearing things like, and who told you that breakfast, is important? Just go ahead and fast until lunchtime. So of course that's what I was doing, because that's what I thought the experts were saying, right? On how to lose weight and get slim really quickly. So I was doing that. I was fasting. I was having my lunch at 12, and then, waiting till then, even though I was starving, not literally, but I was just really, really hungry. And then having to wait till 12, till my eating window, and then, eating, buttered chicken with like a side of broccoli, um, and eating the same thing for dinner. And it was just hard. I was eating just a bunch of eggs, a bunch of just bacon and things like that. And of course I did not feel good. So once I tried that, I was able to keep it for maybe, a month or so, but it didn't last long, because it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't something that changed my perspective, and, on weight and any of that. On the contrary, it became just super focused on losing weight, on, keeping my macros, and just all of that. So of course it was not healthy at all. And so, after that scenario, about a year later, maybe about a year later, I got married, and all was good. You know, I didn't necessarily, you know, try to get fit for my wedding. It was like a 4-month engagement. Then we got married, and it was just, you know, sweet time, of course. But when we got married, we would eat out a lot. So this was maybe for about 8 months of our marriage. We would eat out a lot. We would, of course, get takeout, grab coffee every day, just everything. Pretty much, you know, pizza almost every Friday. Like it was just, you know, what we felt like eating. And of course, at home, when I would cook, I didn't know how to cook. So I was just making, you know, chicken and rice, and that was pretty much it. Um, and it, of course, like I didn't see it then, but I see it now looking back at the pictures. Like I just see a progression even from when I got married to to now. And I was just, you know, I was slowly just creeping up the weight. I have a picture actually from when we got married and we were on our honeymoon to maybe about a year after that. And I just see it. Like there was just a significant just difference. So in August of 2019, which is 8 months after we got married, me and my husband, we got on a very strict budget. We started to figure out ways to cut things off of our budget, to start, you know, aiming towards becoming debt free, because we had a ton of student loans. And so because of that, we had to significantly just shrink our budget and kind of figure out like, okay, what are we going to do? And so that helped a lot, because then we were not eating out anymore. We were just strictly eating at home. So that helped a lot. But then again, even through that, it was always like counting calories, eating little portions, you know, just so that I could lose weight. But even then, I was still gaining weight, as I've been saying, you know, like I would, you know, not eat and then eat on the weekends, you know, a lot. And then the same cycle just continued. Food was just always in the back of my mind. Body image was just always in the back of my mind. When I'd look in the mirror, it was just, honestly, like it's so sad now to look back. And I was just, when I'd look in the mirror, it was just sad, you know, like I was just, I can't even describe it. When I look in the mirror, I was just sad, and just kind of, I was just saddened and grieved that this was me. And it's so crazy to think about now, because now I look in the mirror, and yes, I'm not the skinniest, you know, that I've ever been. I'm not, you know, like a person in, you know, a magazine, but I look at my body and I'm proud, because I know that I'm fueling my body. I know that my body is thriving. I know that I'm putting good things into it, and that I'm honoring the body that God has given me. And so because of that, because you know, I know that, and because I've changed my lifestyle, I'm able to see my body, and it's no longer with, I wouldn't even dare say disgust that I used to see it in, but I see it with just love and appreciation for what my body now is able to do for me. When I go walking, when I go out with friends, like things like that, you know, fill me with just joy, where before I don't know why, like it would just break me every time. Sometimes I'd avoid looking in the mirror, just because I was just so heartbroken at what I would see. I'd see just a body that is, you know, chubby. I would see just, you know, just flaws everywhere. And that's just no place to be. When I'd get on the scale, I would just be like, it's my fault. I got myself there. Or, you know, just thinking, what can I do? How can I, you know, restrict myself more to reach my goal, which of course that was never gonna get me anywhere. All I was doing was just messing with my head and just, you know, damaging my body, not honoring it, not loving it in any way. So towards the end of 2019, my company hired a new employee, and I am so thankful for her. for just so many things, but this one specifically. So as I was working with her, we had just so many opportunities to just talk about each other's lives, you know, like really just dig deep into each other's lives and, you know, just talk. And we developed this really sweet friendship while she was there. And so she's the one who introduced me into veganism, into, you know, this way of eating. And so the way that it kind of started, that I just began to just ask questions where when she would, you know, when it would be time for her lunch, she would just be so excited, which is just the weirdest thing to me, but she'd be so excited. She'd bring her just her food and her, you know, just plate of food of her container with, you know, her big salad or whatever it was that she made. And she just looked happy, you know, like I don't think I ever once saw her, you know, like look at food or make a comment of like, I shouldn't be eating this, or this is too many carbs, or even worry about tracking macros or any of that. Like I never saw that. Even when there would be like, you know, desserts that were, you know, that she could have, or when she would bring desserts, I was just mind blown. I was just like, she's slim, she's happy, she doesn't seem to be even just concerned about, you know, like how many calories she's eating, but she'd bring desserts for us. And meanwhile I'm here like thinking, you know, like what is, you know, how many calories is this so I can enter it into my app. Like she was just enjoying it, you know, and thankful for it. And so seeing that just kind of began this like process of me beginning to think like, I kind of want to try that out. Like whatever she's doing, I want to try that out. Like she is, you know, like her example that she set was just so amazing. And so gradually I began to, you know, cut out certain things and, you know, kind of try out, you know, almond milk or soy milk, or, you know, kind of slowly make those decisions, you know, not completely, but just little by little. And it just so happened also that around this time, as I was beginning to kind of, you know, try taking things out, putting things back in, I was beginning to realize that, you know, dairy was kind of not being a good friend of mine. It was beginning to just, you know, give me stomach aches whenever I would have it. So then I was just like, okay, this is a good incentive to continue with this and to keep trying and kind of figure out what works for me. And then one day I just decided, you know what, why not? Like I already cut out the dairy, most of it. So why not just try this out, you know, cutting out meat? Like how hard is that, you know? So that's what I did. And in May of 2020, May of 2020, I was like, I'm gonna do this. So I did. I was like, let's try it out for a week, and I felt good, and I did it. So I was like, yay, let's keep going. So I did it 2 weeks, and that's when I really was beginning to feel the difference. I had so much more energy. I was waking up early in the morning because I started my day at work at 7, and I was just feeling great. I was like, what is this? Like, I feel like I don't even need caffeine. I'm good. Like, I feel great. So that kind of just started it. And since then I was just like, okay, let's keep doing it. And while this was happening too, for the next, let's see, from May till September, I was still eating, you know, I stuck to plant-based eating, but I was still eating just a lot of, you know, still had the oils, still had, you know, processed foods. I was still having lots of pasta, lots of bread, peanut butter, like all these other stuff that are healthy, you know, they're good for you. But, you know, I was having like an excessive amount. And of course, all the processed food. So I was having all of that. But I during this time, I wasn't, you know, losing any weight, and weight loss was never really, you know, like throughout this whole thing, it wasn't really something that like was my driver. You know, the majority of it was that throughout this process, throughout these, you know, few couple of months of just being plant-based, I was just beginning to dive deep into what is this way of living? Like, why do I feel so good? Like, is there an answer? Like, it can't be just me. Like, why did my friend, you know, really enjoy this lifestyle? Like, what is it about it? So it was during this time as I was just like, okay, I feel great. Month one, I was like, okay, I feel amazing. I love this. I could eat rice. I could eat carbs. I'm happy, you know, like this is great. This is awesome. So that's when I began to just start listening to podcasts. I would listen to podcasts at work. I would listen to podcasts at home. I watched movies. I was just getting informed, you know, trying to really set a foundation so that it could hold me up. If one day I, at that point, decided I'm going to go back to feeling like crap. And it worked, you know, as I began to just gain knowledge and see this lifestyle, you know, again, because at this point, it wasn't about the weight loss. It wasn't about losing weight. It wasn't about becoming the skinniest girl, you know, ever. It wasn't about that. It was just about my health. And it was just about, I have energy now. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling happier. Like, I know I'm doing something good for myself. Veggies can't be bad for me, right? You know, rice, how is that going to harm me? Beans, right? So I was already beginning to start thinking deeper into these things. So I was beginning to listen to Michael Greger, Ornish, you know, just so many other influencers, so many other doctors, you know, big in this plant-based world. And so this helped me just so much to solidify, like, I am sticking to this. This is the best way of living. And because it was never about weight loss, it just made it so much easier. And throughout this thing, when I was just knowing, focusing so much on how good I'm feeding my body, slowly but surely, the bad and negative thoughts that I had about my body when I'd look in the mirror, or about my weight when I got on the scale, like, they weren't even coming up as much. You know, they just slowly started fading away because I was just like, I know what I'm putting in my mouth, and I know it ain't junk. And I know that whether I look the greatest, or how the magazines put it, you know, like how you're supposed to look, like, I know I'm feeding my body. I'm not starving myself, and I'm feeding it, and it's, you know, I'm honoring it. So, you know, then eventually, as I just began to continue listening to podcasts, which there are just some phenomenal ones that I encourage you to listen to, and I'll go ahead and link them down below, just, you know, to get you started too. But as I was doing that, I was like, you know what? Oil-free is the way to go. And oils are not that healthy. So then that was kind of, in the beginning, maybe it took me like 2 weeks to kind of get adjusted. And I just cut out oil. And I was like, even better, right? And it was really then. I was slowly starting to cut out already the bread, not having it every day. And like I mentioned in my, I think my second video, I would have it on the weekends, you know, for my breakfast, pasta every now and then, but just not heavily on the processed foods. Cut out, you know, we don't eat out anymore because we're kind of used to it. I mean, throughout our debt-free journey, that kind of allowed us to, you know, take those things out. And so now I prefer my own cooking over, you know, eating out, many, you know, most of the time. So yeah, so I was cutting out the oil. I was cutting out, you know, slowly taking things out. Then eventually in October, I would just completely whole food plant-based. And again, not about weight loss. This was just about what's the best way to fuel my body. Like, what does my body need? And let me give it what it needs, you know, because food was just something that fueled me now. yes, it's a blessing. Yes, I enjoy it. Yes, I love it. I enjoy eating and going out with people and things like that, but it wasn't about the food anymore. I used to be a food junkie. Loved going out to new restaurants, trying out food with friends, with my husband. But now it's like, no, food, yes, you could go out and eat with somebody, but it's about the person, it's about the connection. So even that, learning to value connections, like going out to eat with somebody isn't so much about, oh, what's this new restaurant. No, it's about the person and getting to enjoy that friendship that you have with another person. So I cut those things out, and the weight just kind of came off on its own, really. Like, it was in a sense, I guess, effortless, because I mean, of those months before that I was just getting adjusted to not having all the I guess, the meat, the dairy. Eventually, so as my mindset was beginning to change, I guess it just kind of came more naturally. Needing to cut all those things out wasn't as much of a big deal, and just the weight just kind of came off. And even me, for a while, I wasn't noticing it so much. Like, there came a point where somebody had to tell me, like, Millie, have you lost weight? Millie, you look very skinny. Like, Millie, wow, what's happening? Like, I was beginning to notice it, not so much because of, like, it's crazy where the weight loss was literally just a side effect of fueling my body properly. And it was, it's crazy because I spent so many years just struggling, hating my body, like, and within a couple of months, within 4 months of just eating clean and enjoying my food without restriction, without counting calories, I was able to lose over 35 pounds. Like, I still can't believe it. Like, it took people telling me, and then eventually I noticed it myself, because I was like, oh, my jeans don't fit, I have to go buy new ones. And finally going to the store and then realizing I am like 4 sizes smaller than I was before. And I'm just like, what? Like, scratching my head, like, I can't believe it. And so, all this to say, like, so this way of eating just takes off the stress, really, of having to struggle with food day in and day out, and having to think that you have to limit yourself to a tiny plate of food to get you through your day, when in reality your body needs more. Your body needs to be fed. You're human, like, there's no need to do that. It just breaks my heart to look back and to remember where I used to be. And sometimes I just get so excited. I'm telling my husband all these facts that I've learned about, in the podcast. And sometimes he's just like, like, oh, okay, like, yeah, he gets excited for me because he knows I get excited. But for me, it kind of goes deeper, which is the whole purpose that I wanted to start this channel and share my experience with you guys, share recipes, share my food hauls, is to show you how easy, how simple, how, like, it doesn't have to be hard. Living a healthy life doesn't have to be hard. It really doesn't. Yes, transitioning into this way of eating is a little bit difficult, maybe very difficult at times. But once you get on that train, once you start, making the effort to change, it is possible. You just gotta have the right motivation, and one day I look forward to being able to be a mama who is able to care for a baby, a newborn baby, and not have to even worry about, gaining the weight, or, like, fearing depression because you gained, like, 10 pounds because of a beautiful baby that came out of you. Like, I know I am so thankful that I'm not there anymore. I am so thankful that, I've surpassed that, and that have been able to just work through that. And I just want, you guys, if any of you guys watching that have subscribed, who have struggled with this at some point in your life, that there is hope, that there is healing that can be accomplished, that can be found in this way of eating. I'm a Christian, and I am just so thankful for God and for just for him allowing me to have met this sweet friend, and who was able to just speak truth in my life. Through that, I am able to glorify God in the way that I eat, on what I put on my plate, and not have to struggle with just so much baggage that I had with just food, when in reality it's a gift from the Lord. And it's something that fuels us, nourishes us, feeds us, to get through life, and not to keep us in bondage and enslaved to. Like, I am just so thankful. And I want you guys to know that there is freedom from, and it's crazy, it may sound weird to some if you don't struggle with this or never have struggled with this, but it's real. It's so real. And which is why, again, this is why I made this channel. I want to be able to spread love, joy, and share with you how this lifestyle can help just change your perspective on food and, nourishment, and diet. I want women to love their bodies, to fuel their bodies, and when they look in the mirror, I want them to love themselves and be so proud that they could fuel their bodies accurately, that they're doing something good for their bodies. And I also want them to not be enslaved to the scale, and to think that their worth is found in a number. We are all created just differently, different sizes, different shapes, and we're all beautiful. And food is something to be enjoyed. It is something to delight in, but not to be enslaved to, not to be, I guess, in a sense, an idol in our lives. We are more than that. I'd encourage you guys, take control of your health. If you've been waiting for something that will just motivate you, like, think of your future, think of where you can be. Take a chance on developing new habits that could change your life in the future. Like, seriously, don't think it's too late. I recently saw another YouTuber, her name is Melissa Alexandria, who just put up a couple days ago a challenge called the Low Calorie Density Challenge. And yes, this is geared a little bit more towards weight loss, but it is basically a just clean, whole food, plant-based diet that she follows. And she just does such a wonderful job in laying out just the very basics on getting started on a whole food, plant-based diet. And I am gonna go ahead and join that challenge. She started March 1st. This thing runs from March 1st to the end of the month, but of course you can always go ahead and jump in a little later. But I really encourage you guys to go ahead, join in, go watch her video. I'll go ahead and link that down below. I strongly encourage you guys to give this lifestyle a chance. It could change your life. Again, Melissa, she does such a great job in going through the basics, and basically it's just allowing you to see how you can enjoy just easy, delicious, real foods, and live and thrive on this way of eating. And of course, as a side effect, lose weight, because you're feeding your body things that it needs, things that it loves. And so I just really hope that you go ahead and join with me. If you are, please go ahead and comment down below, and we'll do this together. I just want to go back to the basics. Pretty much the only thing that I have to cut out would be the bread, and would be pasta for the next 30 days. But for the most part, you know, it's pretty much the same thing of the way I eat already. But if you guys are new, consider please signing up for that and doing it with me, and go ahead and check out her video. I would like to give a shout out to the most amazing man in the entire world, my husband. He has been just such a wonderful supporter of me. He's the one who actually encouraged me to start YouTube and to just share my journey with you guys, because he knows I love talking about it. So why not put it on camera if I'm going to be talking about it anyways? He, you know, he's not fully plant-based, and I mentioned it in my food haul briefly. He is not fully plant-based, but you know, he eats everything that I eat, you know, for his lunches and for his dinners, with the exception of if his mom, you know, or if a friend invites him out to eat, then he'll go ahead and eat, you know, whatever he wants, which is totally fine. But he is such a gem. He has allowed me to, you know, not have any of those things in the fridge, any types of meat or anything like that. Like he, you know, took a little bit, but on his own, he made the decision for himself. And he has made it so much easier on me, because then I just have to cook, you know, for both of us, the same thing. And it's just been awesome. So thank you, honey. I love you. I am so thankful for you and for just supporting me. Even when you thought I was crazy in the beginning, you didn't think that I was going to stick with it. But now we're both here and it's been awesome. So thank you. Don't lose hope, guys. If you have a spouse who, as of now, does not want anything to do with plant-based eating or whatever, like, just set an example, you know, even if they never change their lifestyle, like, it's okay. Like, you do it for you, set that example. You never know, maybe you changing your lifestyle will motivate them to change their lifestyle too. So I'm just so thankful for you guys. For those of you guys who have already subscribed, I am beyond grateful. Thank you so much. And I mean, I hope that you guys, you know, give this lifestyle a try, because it has changed my life and it can change your guys's too. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sorry that this video was a bit longer than you probably expected, but I just hope that this resonates with some of you, and that you guys just stay motivated to stick to this way of eating. Maybe for you, you didn't struggle with food, and maybe for you it's something else that is motivating you, or that it's helped you change, whether it be like, you know, a certain illness. Like, just go ahead, go on the comments down below and share with me, how has a plant-based diet changed your life? And maybe it'll just bring extra motivation to somebody else who is just dealing with the same thing that you are. I want this channel to just spread love and positivity and help you guys just make, you know, your life better, to give you encouragement, to give you joy. And so, yeah, just let me know what other videos you want to see. I want to be real with you guys. I want to share my life with you guys and how it's going, like, for me. See you next time, guys.